It's squash season, but a lot of people walk past the squash aisle at the grocery store because they've never made a squash before. I'm going to show you two of the easiest ways to cook a butternut squash. The first thing you need to know is how to get into it. These things are as hard as rocks. The traditional method would have you cut the squash like this, but this could be dangerous, even with a super sharp knife. You could grab an axe and give it a whack, but no. The first method is perfect if you want a mash or a puree. For this one, we take the whole squash and wash off any dirt. We prick the outside all over with a fork to let out the steam and put it on a foil-lined baking sheet and then into the oven for an hour to an hour and a half. Check it with a fork to see if it's soft. Look how easy it is to cut now, like a hot knife through butter. It is even easier to scoop out the seeds. It would be a lot easier if I let it cool a little bit before I started scooping, but you can just throw out the seeds, scoop the rest of the squash out, and add a little salt and plant-based butter. It makes a great side dish, or you can use it in a recipe. If you want butternut squash cubes or chunks, then you're going to want to do the same thing by washing and pricking the outside. But instead of going into the oven, you're going to go right into the microwave for 7 to 9 minutes. This will make it soft enough to cut without cooking it all the way through. You should let it cool slightly, a step that I skipped, but it would make it easier to peel. Cut off the ball end and then slice the long end into slabs and then dice it. With the ball end, you cut it in half, scoop out the seeds, and dice this up. It is so much easier. It is only partially cooked, so you can finish roasting it in the oven or add it to other recipes. To roast it, I like to add a little olive oil, salt, dried sage, and roast it in the oven at 450 for 30 minutes or so until it gets a little color. If you don't want to roast it, you can add it to other recipes like this delicious creamy butternut squash soup.